What if every single laptop review you've watched this year was wrong? What if the most popular models are a complete waste of your money? After testing 47 different laptops from Ultrabooks to gaming beasts, the data revealed a shocking truth. There are only 5, let me repeat, only 5 laptops released this year that are actually worth your hard-earned cash. And number 3. It's a machine nobody is talking about, and it will completely change the game. Stay tuned, because we're counting them down to the one ultimate laptop you need to see. Starting at number 1. Dell 14 Plus, DB14250. Design: being in Dell's new mid-range, Plus, formerly Inspiron, line, the 14 Plus is a decidedly plain laptop, but that's not to say it's low quality. The Dell 14 Plus is nearly light enough to meet our standards for ultra-portable laptops, and it comes in a full metal build, which we've come to expect from systems at this level. Dell's design also includes a decent webcam and speakers for video calls, and comfortable inputs for ease of use. It even has plenty of ports for new and old devices, including Thunderbolt 4. Display: Dell's display is sharp, saturated, and eye-friendly. It's a 1600p IPS panel with an advanced 90Hz refresh rate, but without touch controls, sticking to elevating the basics. While it's not quite as bright as we'd like, image quality remains high, with decent color coverage and contrast. At its sale price, this display becomes quite a rare feature. Performance: in terms of speed, this is a profoundly mid-range system. It's a decent laptop for homework, paying bills, and web browsing, but not your go-to video editing machine or a gaming rig. Remember, this is a top laptop for most people, not edge cases like multimedia production or playing PC games. Battery life: this is the marquee feature for the Dell 14 Plus, a long-running 20 hours of battery life. Intel's Core 200V processors were built with optimum efficiency in mind, and it shows in this battery test result. Expect this laptop to last more than a full workday off the charger. Value for money: while its list price to start isn't extremely competitive, the Dell 14 Plus becomes an absolute steal when found on sale. We've seen it for as little as $699.99 from Dell's own website and outside of a major shopping holiday, like Prime Day. That's a serious value for what's on offer here, in a decent price range for students and kids, or bargain hunters. Number 2. Apple MacBook Air 13-inch, 2025, M4. Design: Apple's laptops have led the design charge for 20 years, though the latest MacBook Air carries that torch without doing much new. This year's model still measures just 0.44 inch thick and weighs a feathery 2.7 pounds. Of course, the laptop still has just 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. While still an impressive exterior, this is perhaps the least exciting part of the 2025 MacBook Air update. Display: Apple's pride in its display technology shows in how much mileage it draws out of each revision. This year's MacBook Air has the same 13.6-inch, 560 by 664 pixel, 1610 LCD Liquid Retina screen. The panel hasn't changed a bit with this model, so expect the screen to hit around 363 nits of brightness while covering 100% of the sRGB and 95% of the DCI-P3 color gamuts. True Tone also returns, adapting the screen's color temperature to ambient light on the fly. Performance: the MacBook Air's new M4 processor still drives competitive speeds compared with laptops in its class, and it continues to punch above its weight in demanding tasks like Photoshop. Always look to a MacBook Pro for a dedicated content creation machine, but the Air will easily handle the odd photo touch-up or video render. M4 also supports Apple's second-generation ray tracing techniques, so Mac gaming got a slight boost, too. Battery life: while we saw a generational decline, Apple's featherweight laptop line was still impressive in terms of battery life, at 19 hours and 56 minutes, in our rundown test. Nearly 20 hours will get you quite far, but some competitors outlasted it by several hours. Value for money: this generation's Air laptop is the most value-packed new MacBook in a while. Thanks to a $100 price cut, it has finally returned to a $999 starting price. Increasing the starting memory capacity to 16 GB also makes upgrades to the storage, GPU, or memory more approachable. Number 3. Acer Aspire 3, A315-24p. Design: this 15-inch Aspire model is a sub-$500 laptop, so you shouldn't expect much design flair. It covers the essentials, including a keyboard that makes for fast typing paired with a numeric keypad that's often missing from 15-inch models. The laptop also features rubber pads on the bottom of the base for added stability. Of course, what you're after at this price is the basics. Display: likewise, Acer's Aspire display covers the basics required by a screen at this price: full HD resolution and decent brightness for the price, which is helped by an anti-glare finish for improved legibility in bright settings. Of course, this laptop doesn't cover 100% of any of the 3 color palettes or gamuts we test for, not that you should expect that this far south of $500. Performance: within its class, this Aspire model produced decent performance numbers in our benchmark tests. While it won no contests, it wasn't completely blown out either. We found the Aspire to get by just fine through basic computing tasks such as word processing and web browsing, but we wouldn't recommend pushing it much further with multimedia content creation or gaming. Battery life: this is a high point for the Aspire, which lasted longer than any of the laptops we compared it with in our review at 16 hours and 46 minutes. That's likely thanks to its lower power processor and relatively dim display when set to the 50% brightness we use for our battery rundown test. Regardless, this laptop is a marathon runner. Value for money: here's where the Acer Aspire 3 excels, almost purely because of its bargain bin price. With a list price just under $400, we've seen it dip below $300 since our review. You won't find many 15-inch laptops with 16-hour battery life for that little, not to mention one with up-to-date Wi-Fi and reliable everyday performance. Number 4. Apple MacBook Pro 14-inch, 2025, M5. Design: Apple's 14-inch MacBook Pro design has remained essentially unchanged for several years, but the current version addresses so many fan concerns that it leaves little to be desired. The all-aluminum build could benefit from an update to its USB-C ports to Thunderbolt 5, currently still on Thunderbolt 4. However, the M5 chip's power delivery limitations might be at play here, as it lacks the additional cores you'll find in its Pro and Max variants. Display: the 3024x1 964-pixel Liquid Retina XDR display returns, this time with a clever trick to boost the brightness of its mini LEDs to 1000 nits for content in standard dynamic range and up to 1600 nits in high dynamic range. Apple's display still rocks our color gamut coverage tests, and it would be a boon to any commute-bound photo or video editor. Performance: this is where Apple focused its attention on with this update, the new M5 processor. This chip introduces a new architectural feature that integrates an AI-accelerating coprocessor with each of the System-on-Chips (SoC) graphics processing cores. The performance benefits are twofold: faster GPU-based AI task processing and even faster graphics processing, aided by new machine learning processes like artificial frame generation. The M5's productivity speeds lead the charts, too, making for an all-round super chip. Battery life: while the MacBook Pro lasts 4 hours less this year than last year's model in our battery rundown, it still falls within Apple's 24-hour promise, and that's more than you need from such a high-power laptop. Expect to get through most, if not all, of a workday on this Mac's battery, especially if you plug in for high-intensity output periods, such as project exporting. Value for money: while Apple's MacBook Pro laptops have always been expensive, many competitors have also started charging more for their products, which has given Apple room to make big waves with relatively small price reductions. The MacBook Pro's starting price remains unchanged with the M5 upgrade, and it competes well within its class at this price. Of course, Apple's storage and memory upgrade pricing at checkout continues its legacy of excess. Number 5. MSI Raider 18HX-AI. Design: the Raider is all about size and stature. With a giant 18-inch screen and weighing a ponderous 7.94 pounds, this laptop isn't designed to go much of anywhere. Instead, it's a desktop replacement through and through. This large design allows for several ports, including Thunderbolt 5, as well as substantial cooling to keep its top-end components from overheating during play. Display. This is one of the stars of MSI's show, the 18-inch mini LED screen with a super sharp 3840 by 2, 400 pixel resolution and speedy 120 Hz refresh rate. It's a regular Rolls-Royce of gaming displays. The screen includes NVIDIA G-Sync so that the screen redraws and the GPU frame rate will always match, at up to 120 frames per second. Performance. Surprising no one, the Raider is an absolute beast at any task you throw at it, short of super-specific workstation applications. It more than doubled the baseline in the PC Mark X test for general productivity, set the record for our handbrake video encoding benchmark, and posted extremely competitive frame rates in our gaming benchmarks. Battery life. You don't come to a laptop like this expecting high efficiency. Despite its size and power profile, the Raider lasted a few hours longer than some competing 18-inchers, and even a few 16-inch laptops, in our battery rundown video playback test. And you can just forget about gaming on the battery, keep this laptop on your desk as much as possible, plugged in. Value for money. A laptop this expensive requires a different approach to evaluating its value than most other kinds of laptops. Rather than comparing it with other laptops, compare it instead with the cost of a comparable gaming desktop setup. Including the top-end screen and high-power components, you're not paying too much more than it would cost to build such a desktop setup. Regardless, however, this is an expensive machine for deep-pocketed enthusiasts only. And there you have it, the definitive list to cut through all the noise and confusion. If this guide saved you from making a $1,000 mistake, then do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It tells YouTube you want more content like this. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 are you buying. Want to get your hands on any of these champions? All the direct purchase links with the latest discounts are waiting for you in the video description below if you want to stay ahead of the curve and get this level of unbiased advice. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.